35, or up to Halacha 27, Halacha Yomi. One who's sitting in the Sukkah and eating by a table that is situated outside of his Sukkah has not fulfilled his obligation, even if his body is inside the Sukkah. Why? This is because of the rabbinical enactment that one may not eat in the Sukkah on a table that's outside his Sukkah, since one might come to eat outside the Sukkah by leaning towards his table. 28. One may fulfill his obligation with a table that's outside of his Sukkah if he does not eat off the table, if he's holding the food in his hands. 29. It is not sufficient for another person to remind him not to eat outside the Sukkah. He has to actually eat off the table. 30. One who ate by a table that's inside the Sukkah but is below non-kosher schach has fulfilled his obligation. Sometimes you have a Sukkah, part of it is kosher and part of it is non-kosher to sit under. And his table goes from the kosher part to the non-kosher part. That is mutar. The case that we said is not allowed is where his table is inside the Sukkah and most of the table is out of the Sukkah. But here it's allowed. 31. One may eat at a table that's partially inside the Sukkah and partially outside the Sukkah. This is our case that the rabbi said it's not allowed, is where only the person's inside the Sukkah and the whole table is outside. But if it's partially, so it's okay. 32. One may sleep in a bed that is mostly in the Sukkah and only partially outside the Sukkah. Like, can a person sleep in the Sukkah where most of his body is in the Sukkah and his feet stick out? Yeah, even if his feet are outside the Sukkah or under a space that is invalid, that's okay. However, most of his body must be inside in order to fulfill his obligation. 33. The mitzvah of being in the Sukkah throughout Sukkot includes eating, drinking, sleeping, or even just walking around and sitting leisurely, right? So people, when they're home, they sit on the couch in their living room. So as a mitzvah during Sukkot, to sit on your couch in the Sukkah, just as like one would live and go about in his home, one must also live in the Sukkah. Therefore, throughout Sukkot, one Sukkah should be his primary dwelling place. If you learn in your study, you should bring your books out. And you should learn in the Sukkah. You hang out on the couch, you should hang out in the Sukkah. 34. One should bring any fancy dishes or other decor into the Sukkah to create an ambiance of one's regular home in the Sukkah. 35. When one finishes meal, he shall not leave the dirty dishes inside the Sukkah, since the Sukkah must be treated with the utmost respect and cleanliness. Similarly, one should not bring unnecessary dishes to the table. For instance, one should not bring a pot in the Sukkah and then empty out its contents on the serving tray. Rather, you should place the food on the serving tray before bringing it into the Sukkah. Right? So no dirty dishes preferably, and no pots in the Sukkah preferably. 36. Any sort of act that might be considered unclean, like washing dishes, cleaning a baby's diaper, and all these things should not be done in the Sukkah also. Okay. 37. A person may not pass through a Sukkah to use it as a shortcut. I have this happen sometimes, where people build their Sukkot in the front of their house. They have an attached house, and they build it in the courtyard in front of their house. So sometimes they need to go to their house. So what do? During the Sukkot, they cut through the Sukkah to get into the house. That's using the Sukkah as a shortcut. 38. Preferably, one should not permit a non-Jew to enter a Sukkah. Okay. According to the name of Chama Yosef, one may bring an animal into the Sukkah, but the Shach says that it affects the Kedusha of the Sukkah. So therefore, better not to. If to bring a non-Jew. 39. Smoking is permitted in a Sukkah. However, one should not do so if it disturbs other people. 40. One may fulfill the mitzvah of Onah in the Sukkah. 41. Even though one may not urinate in the Sukkah, if an elderly person has a bedpan and he's going to cover it, he's allowed to technically, and then it should be removed in the morning. 42. Throughout Sukkot, one should learn and read in the Sukkah. If you can't concentrate, then you could go inside. Similarly, if you need a lot of books and it's very hard to constantly go inside in and out to get more books, so then you're allowed to learn inside as well. 43. If it begins to rain while you're in the Sukkah, you could go indoors and you don't have to wait for it to rain heavily. 44. One should always pray in the synagogue, even if one may also make a minyan in the Sukkah. Is no better place to pray than in the synagogue. 45. The Zohar says during Sukkot the shpizin are present in the Sukkah. Therefore, you got to act with utmost respect and dignity, and not speak about frivolous matters, not get angry, or Chaz Shalom, gamble. Person says, careful not to gamble in Sukkah. A lot of people bring the, what do you call it, cards? They bring cards. They bring cards. They play cards. Klafim in the Sukkah. Haz Shalom. That's not the right thing to do. 46. It's praiseworthy custom. Set aside a special chair in the Sukkah for Ushpizin. The Zohar says, if you do not put a table, they don't come. If you don't put a chair, they don't come. Okay. Other than the first night of Sukkot, one is not obligated to eat in the Sukkah the remaining days unless one is eating mezonot or bread. Strictly speaking, one is obligated to eat in the Sukkah if he's eating 54 grams of bread. Preferably, one should eat at least 60 grams of bread. One who's eating less than 50 grams of bread does not have to eat in the Sukkah. Food such as fruit, vegetables, meat, fish, chicken, cheese, eggs, and even rice does not have to be eaten in the Sukkah. Let's say a person gets stuffed. He's going to have plof. That's a lot of rice, meat. He's going to get full. Nonetheless, he doesn't have to eat in the Sukkah. 50. If one was eating the Sukkah and did not have intention of eating more than a kibitzah, and then he decided he wants to eat more than a kibitzah, he should recite the L'Sheh B'Sukkah before he continues to eat. Mezonot food. Pata babikisanin, cookies, crackers, sweetbreads, cakes, pasta, any dish made from the fried grains. They have to be eaten in the Sukkah if one is eating more than a kibitzah. However, L'Sheh B'Sukkah is only recited if you're going to eat 162 grams. Preferably, one should eat 216 grams. Ashkenazim, however, have the custom to say L'Sheh B'Sukkah even eating mezonot less than 162 grams. It's praiseworthy to still eat in the Sukkah regardless of the measure of the food that one is eating. Some people are machmir to eat everything, even to drink water in the Sukkah. But from the letter of the law, if you eat bread more than 52 grams, you have to eat in the Sukkah. And if you eat mezonot more than 52 grams, you have to eat in the Sukkah, but without L'Sheh B'Sukkah. L'Sheh B'Sukkah is only 162. Even though usually we say 216 for to be Kovei Seudah, in regards to the laws of L'Sheh B'Sukkah, since there's some opinions who say you already have to say B'Kibitzah, you have to say L'Sheh B'Sukkah. So therefore, we have Safek Safekah to make bracha. You could follow the opinion that says that already 52 grams you're required to say L'Sheh B'Sukkah for mezonot. And even if you say not like that opinion, you have to have Kovei Seudah, maybe Halacha like Rambam, then that really Kazayit is 18 grams. Therefore, according to this, if you do the calculation of four kibitzot for Kovei Seudah, it'll come out to 162 grams. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.